What's up everyone, it's Q from RetroQ Gaming, and I want to talk about something that isn't usually talked about on my channel that much, and that is the case of wrong opinions. That's right, opinions are basically subjective, but there are also wrong opinions. Several wrong opinions include the fact that some people might say that Secret of Mana isn't the best game ever. This is an example of a wrong opinion. Some people would say that Destiny and Destiny 2 are good, serviceable games and not absolute trash and some of the worst first-person shooters ever made. These are also wrong opinions. The latest installment of the wrong opinion we have is actually from Digital Foundry. As you guys know, I am a fan of Digital Foundry to an extent. I like their technology analysis and performance analysis. Their opinions are usually garbage, as evidences the fact by, well, they have a wrong opinion, which is why I tend to gravitate more to VG Tech and Candyland, as I've mentioned several times before, for my preferred performance and resolution analysis. But what are we talking about anyway? How can they have one of their usual wrong opinions? And to answer that, I have to point you to one of their latest videos about The Witcher 3 on Xbox One X. The game, when it was updated, received HDR support on Xbox One. Currently, it's the only platform with HDR support, with PS4 Pro coming soon, and supposedly no plans for a PC patch, which is kind of bullshit considering the fact that, as PC gamers, we made CD Projekt Red. But that's beside the point, I'm not going to get salty about that. So where does the wrong opinion come in here? So if you guys don't know, HDR is a new type of contrast system that allows more vivid colors, blacker blacks, brighter whites. It's essentially the next step technology of something we've been striving for years. When you look back in the mid-2000s, it's why plasma TVs were factually and technically better than LCD and even early LED TVs, because they have significantly better contrast among other things. For you newer and younger guys, the equivalent would be comparing an LCD or LED TV to an OLED TV. That's basically what plasma and LCD was like, with plasma obviously being the OLED equivalent. The colors and depths of blacks and whites and brights and colors and everything, so much better, no comparison whatsoever. But anyway, let's get on to what I'm actually talking about. So in this video where they analyze the HDR support in Blood and Wine, one of the expansions for The Witcher 3, in their incorrect opinion, they say that The Witcher 3, according to them, is best played on Xbox One X, even in comparison to the PlayStation 4 Pro and a high-end PC, all because of HDR support. And this is where their opinion is straight up wrong. That's right, wrong. Let me give you a perfect example of why their opinion is wrong. Higher contrast levels by themselves on equivalent platforms, yes, then it would make sense. If everything was equal except for high dynamic range and standard dynamic range, then yes, obviously the high dynamic range would be better. But you are comparing dynamic, non-native 4K with not maxed out settings and not locked 30 frames per second with HDR support, or an even lower average dynamic resolution, 60 frames per second, and again, non-maxed out settings and lower quality settings with HDR support, being compared to PC, which has native 4K. That's right, proper, true, native 4K, no dynamic scaling, no checkerboarding, native 4K, proper, true, maxed out graphical settings, and 60 plus frames per second. Let's review. One more time. Dynamic 4K, not maxed out settings, 30 and below frames per second. One more time. Dynamic 4K, 30 and below frames per second, non-maxed out setting. Or dynamic resolution with an even lower average, non-maxed out settings, and an unkept 60 frames per second. One more time. Dynamic resolution with a lower average, lower quality graphical settings, and an unstable 60 frames per second, versus native 4K, 60 plus frames per second, and completely maxed out graphical settings. This is the latest installment of a wrong opinion. Higher contrast ratio, lower quality and lower resolution, as well as a poorer frame rate, does not make up all these differences. If you believe so, like Digital Foundry, your opinion is wrong. But realistically, it's pretty obvious. Let me just say it. One more time. Non-native resolution, sub 30 frames per second, or unable to keep 60 frames per second, with non-maxed out graphical settings, versus a true native 4K, 60 plus frames per second, and true maxed out graphical quality. There's no comparison. Anyway, that's my correct opinion on the matter. Let me know where you stand on the whole thing. Even if you are in the camp of the wrong opinion, feel free to leave it in the comments section below. Now, don't get me wrong, if you are an Xbox One X user and a non-PC gamer for some reason, these are obviously very welcome improvements for you, assuming you have a HDR TV, of course. So I'm not shitting on CD Projekt Red actually bringing this support to Xbox One and soon PS4 Pro, but it's just a terrible, terrible thing to even suggest or put out there as an opinion. It's one of the many reasons why a lot of people, like myself, actually call in the credibility of Digital Foundry more and more and more lately, between their bad opinions and their increasing amount of errors they're making, not to mention the whole shady Patreon deal. These are professionals working for a major media outlet, people, remember that. They're not in any trouble for money. It's ridiculous that they even ask for more, but that's a whole other topic I'm not going to talk about. But anyway, let me know in the comments section below what the situation is. Let me know if you are enjoying their patch, their HDR support or whatever. If, like myself, you see logic and know that they're wrong, or whatever it is. Let me know it all in the comments section below. I want to hear from all sides. Other than that, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. Thank you for watching. I will see you in the rest of the videos in my channel. One more time.